Welcome back to our podcast session where we talk about cultures of Asia, specifically in deities and gods. We are in our first episodes and we hope that you're excited to listen to a bunch of mythological nerds. So, Shafiq, for our first entry in this podcast, what are we going to talk about?
Hey Moose, have you ever seen one of those Star Wars movies and thought, man, I wish Asian cultures has cool gods that could represent us ourselves? Well, you know what? Yes, we do.
That's a really specific situation, and I don't think I've ever said that.
What are you talking about, Moose? Say yes. You're saying it all the time. Just say yes.
Yes. Which brought us to the title of our first episode in this podcast, Indonesian Deities. So, in this episode, we are going to talk and learn about the gods, the legends, and the folklore of the ancient religion from our neighboring country, which has been part of their cultures for centuries.
Not only that, we are also here to expose this not so similar side of Indonesia to the media. We are hoping that our humble little podcast will reach every corner of the world. With that being said, let's start.
Okay, so Indonesia, like us, consists of many cultures, right? So in the ancient religion of Indonesia, or animism, it consists of the combinations of religions. The deities that they worship were inspired by Hindu Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, Nusantara, and even from the Philippines.
Yes, it is noticeable that some gods in Indonesia have names that are quite similar to the gods of Hinduism. For example, the god Vishnu sounds similar to the god to Hinduism god Vishnu. So it can be safely concluded that Indonesian deities are some sort of localized version of Hinduism faith.
I agree, but not only deities, even creatures other than gods are also in Indonesian ancient religions. For example, they also believe in genies and angels, which are similar to Christianity and Islamic faith.
That is right. Indonesian deities also have to deal with creatures that are known to Malaysia and their neighboring countries. Their gods interacted with creatures such as forest elves or Buinian and water spirits or hantu air.
And one more fun fact, Batara, which is a word that is used to refer to male Indonesian gods. In the Philippines, Bathala is a word that is also used for the same purposes. With that being said, shall we continue by describing the coolest Indonesian gods?
Sure, let's go.
Hey, Shafiq, eclipses are scary, right? Even with modern and scientific explanations, it is still scary.
It sure is. The idea of the sun being blocked by the moon astronomically frightening.
Yeah, it gets scary according to the Indonesian law. According to them, it is the doing of Batara Kala, the god of the underworld and the darkness.
Ooh, what did Batara Kale do?
According to the Indonesians, when an eclipse happens, Batara Kala devours the sun out of rage and only spits it back when he is satisfied with the human's deeds.
Deeds? Is there anything that they must do when eclipses happen?
Yes, they need to respect Batara Kala. When an eclipse happens, they shall not eat, look at the sun, or even construct a house. Not only that, they must not celebrate marriages. Instead, they are required to stay inside. They must bathe and clean their heirlooms.
Sounds like a very powerful god.
Yeah, in fact, pregnant women and children must stay inside. As you can tell, the Javanese who worship them do the deeds out of fright and loyalty at the same time, in my opinion at least. And I think that's awesome.
You're geeking out, aren't you?
Yeah, Bhutan Kali is such a powerful deity, man.
Are there any festivals that are being celebrated to celebrate Batara Kale?
There are various traditional celebrations across Indonesia that involve the worship of this powerful god. We have Balim Valley Cultural Festivals, and we also have Tenggiri's Festival of Kasada.
Okay, I think we're done with the darkness tone. Let's talk about Dewi Lanjar, the ruler of the northern sea of Java.
Okay, so what's her story?
Quite sad. Actually, she was actually a human once. Her husband died and she had no children. Lanja is actually a term to describe a young widow with no children. She was in grief and swore to not get married again.
So how did she overcome her grief?
She wanted to find peace. She met kings who suggested her to meditate on the south coast.
What happens then?
She met a sorceress named Ratu Kido. There, she begged to be his student.
That is cool. Did she fight an evil wizard or something?
Yes, she had to fight an evil wizard named Raden Bahu. Dewi Lanja, after practicing her power, led an army of genies to fight him.
Did she win though?
Unfortunately, no. Raden Bahu is a really powerful wizard who gained his power by meditating upside down like a bat. It's a technique known as ngalo.
Oh no. What happened to Dewi Lanja?
She retreated to Pekalongan, Indonesia. She is still worshipped by the people there until now.
Okay, so what do you think of Dewi Lanja, Shafiq?
Really tragic. I was rooting for her. But do you know how these people celebrate Dewi Lanjar?
How?
There are festivals to honor Dewi Lanjar such as Galungan and Kuningan, Nyepi, Waisak, Imlek, and Toraja funeral ceremonies.
Well, that's a lot, but let's move on to another god, Dewi Sri. There are a lot of interpretations of her story in this one. There are versions from Sundanese, Javanese, and Balinese.
What is she the god of?
Dewi Sri is the god of paddy and fertility. That's the similarity of the versions from Sundanese, Javanese, and Balinese.
So what's her story?
Well, she was born in an egg that is incubated by a snake god. The egg appeared through tears of the same snake god.
What?
It's a long story, but the point is she's magical and was born with great beauty. Then she was married to Batara Guru, the leader of all gods.
Happily ever after?
Yeah, you wish. Her beauty was envied by other gods, and then she was tragically poisoned. Her body was buried on earth. In the place where she was buried, paddy and other plants grow from her.
That is tragically beautiful.
The Indonesians think so too. There are a few festivals celebrated by them until now, such as harvesting festivals that are celebrated in Sada month and Kedasa month.
Do they have any other festival to celebrate the Wisari?
Yeah, of course. There are several festivals and celebrations in Indonesia that honor Dewi Sri, including Tumpek Landep, and we also have Sekaten, Pageresi, and Serentahun.
I think we're done with Dewi Sri now. Let's talk about action, a dance drama about a story between Barong the lion and Ragnar the witch.
A battle scene, cool!
This dance performance is inspired by a story between Barong and Ragnar. While performing this dance, the dancer would lose consciousness at the end of the ritual.
What? Why? What happened?
It appears that while dancing to the rituals, the dancer would lose in space and time, having vivid dreams as if Barong and Ragnar take over their body in an epic battle.
What happens during the dance ritual?
The avatar of Ragnar would scream creepily, and the audience would fall into trance with daggers. This dance ritual will show Barong defeating Ragnar in an epic battle.
That sounds dangerous. Is it okay to be shown in public?
Well, the real ritual is considered profane, so to be a tourist attraction. However, there are the safer version of the dance that can be shown in the public in modern days.
I see. Tell me more about Barong and Rangda. What are they the god of again?
Barong is a panther-like creature, the embodiment of good, while Ragda is a witch, the embodiment of evil.
I see. That is really interesting.
There are also festivals in honor of Barong. Here are several festivals and celebrations in Indonesia that honor Barong, including Barong Dance, Galungan and Kuningan, Barong Brutuk, and Barong Sai. I guess we reached the end of the episodes, huh? I think today's entry is quite frightening and tragic, but Indonesian gods are still cool regardless.
I agree completely. I also think that we should promote our Asian culture to the entire world, perhaps through movies, like Thor did. Can you name one movie based on Indonesian deities?
Good news, I can name one. Bad news, there's only one. There's an Indonesian movie entitled Sri Asih, a character from a local comic book. She's the reincarnation of the goddess of justice. I think that the world could use more representation, right? I mean, we make movie adaptation based on our entries alone.
Yeah, can you imagine an adapted movie where Dewi Lanja finds a redemption and is finally able to defeat Raden Bahu? Or maybe a movie where Dewi Sri is revived, gaining the powers to control plants and seek vengeance among the gods, or a movie of a battle between the embodiments of good and evil themselves, Barong and Rangda, or even a movie where Batara Kala learns that sharing the sunlight with people is actually a good thing.
That would be so awesome. The point is, our Asian culture is rich with unexplored lore. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast on Indonesian deities. We hope you enjoy learning about the fascinating mythologies and beliefs of Indonesia as we explore the different deities and spirit that are revered in this diverse country. We were reminded of the importance of cultural diversity and respect for different belief systems. Whether you believe in these deities or not, their story and tradition are an important part of Indonesia's rich cultural heritage. We encourage you to continue learning about the fascinating worlds of Indonesian mythology and to embrace the diversity and richness of the cultures around us. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.